I believe that everybody needs a passion, a goal, something to chase. It keeps us alive. It keeps us moving. We try to excel, get better, move forward. What you think about and what you believe in ultimately determines the journey ahead, the roads you'll take, your destination. I know what I want, but I have no idea how to get there. All I can do is take the first step, trust it, believe in it. What do you believe in?
Hit you on my time, my fist the road. Had a known speed to the top, no drop. What you gonna do won't stop.
Light. Now we're talking. Now we're
07? Yeah. It's getting there.
Yeah, better.
We're just testing for a baseline, right? Just to see where it's at. And
that's right. Hopefully knock off like 3-4 seconds. Hopefully. That'd be great.
All right.
See you guys later.
Try and get it ready as much as I can next winter. This winter for next summer, so I can get better at drifting. Thank God I have a brother-in-law like Tim, because always doing the same as me, always running around, always cars. We want to grow, and we need resources.
This is my story, my passions, my goals, my cars, and my driving ability. And more importantly, my team. My friends, the people I choose to have around me for this epic journey. This is Project 253. I don't know where it's going to take us, if anywhere. As of now, my team consists of 4 people. 2 of us drift, 2 of us drag race, and I am looking to expand. Whether they realize it or not, they're all part of my little game, my project. It's not a race team, it's a journey. It's an answer to what calls to us. It's not about the competition or even becoming professional. It's about following the passion, chasing the dream, and becoming the best we can be. Most importantly, it's about building the bonds, making the memories, and enjoying the ride. I believe with the right attitude and drive, you can have anything you dream of. These are the people I want to share that with. Me and this guy go way back, all the way back to partying in high school. It's been a long time since then. He's always been the most real and responsible one of the whole group. Perfect. He's the ones your parents trust when you go out to a party. But we all know what's really up. His specialty is sound and style. His car's on air ride and has a monster sound system in it. Recently, There's been a little change in pace. Time to add a little power. Make this boombox a rocket ship. With a long list of mods coming in the very near future, this is going to be a project to watch out for. The Buick Roadmaster is not only going to look good, but it's going to look good going down the racetrack. This year was the first time he put it out there to see what it can do. It's going to be a long-term project, but very soon you're going to see some amazing progression. Things are looking up. Things are good. And it's going to be one hell of a ride. The newest of the group, old enough to know better, but still too young to care. The perfect balance between responsibility and complete recklessness. He knows how to send it. When he wants something, he goes for it. Doesn't let anything stop him. 3 motors in 1 season and still going strong. Nothing gets in the way. He's got that youthful drive, the stars in his eyes. The dreams are still close for him. He truly believes in what can happen, and he's going for it. Style and attitude. He's not afraid to get out there and send it. His newest venture is learning how to drift. With his KA24 turbo swapped 240 SX S13 chassis. He's had the car for about 3 years now, and it's really starting to come together. Good horsepower numbers, a good solid build, a good engine swap. It's an all-around good car, and he's going to do very impressive things with this. Project 253, thus far, is based on drifting and drag racing. Leading the pack on the other side of the fence with the Chevy Malibu is our lead mechanic, our main technician, the guy that can figure anything out. He has drag racing in his blood. A lot of history with his family in the drag strip. That's why he's our go fast guy. A passion for muscle cars and making a lot of noise. He's the guy we call upon when we have to figure something out. There's never a job too big or too intimidating for him. He'll figure it out if it takes him hours, but most of the time, that's not the case. He's really good at seeing the big picture, and he looks at this whole thing the same way I do. Chasing the dream, living the passion, knowing that it's in you, and going for it. Every time in the shop or on the track, things get better. The car's getting stronger, faster, and the numbers are proof of all the hard work. He stepped things up this season, and it's only going to get better from here. Did I make the right choice? Obviously it snowed last night. I really can't answer that, but I had to make a call because my daily rides were dying on me. My 2004 Colorado wouldn't run anymore, and my 2006 Chevrolet HHR required more work than the whole car was actually worth. So I basically sold both of those for scrap. These aren't the only cars I own, but the other ones are not suitable for winter driving. I have a 1966 Pontiac Acadian Invader, which I bought off my uncle. It belonged to my grandfather before him, so the car is very special to me. It's over 50 years old and still one of the most beautiful cars around. Right now, it's in my shop and it's under the knife, making the car more my personal taste, something that suits my driving style and my attitude. I also have a 1992 RX-7 FD3S. This is one of my favorite cars, always has been. I got this car in summer of 2017. My little brother Eldon helped me pick it up 3 weeks before he tragically passed away in a car accident. So both these cars are very special to me. So in February 2018, I decided to buy a brand new Toyota 86. Released in 2013 from Scion as the FRS and Subaru as the BRZ, this is the predecessor to the AE86 chassis, the grandson if you will. And I am no stranger to that chassis code. I got my very first 86 in 2006 with big dreams, big goals, and a need to go drifting. I could probably say that these are some of the best times in my life. I drifted the car for numerous years before upgrading to 11, an AE86 with an SR20 turbo Nissan engine in it. The car absolutely hauled ass. Then real life comes along and makes you grow up. I built a house and a garage and could no longer afford to drift or really do anything with these cars. So I ended up parting out both race cars. It was the only way to make a profit on it and regain some of the money that I desperately needed at the time. After a while, things started to normalize, get paid off. I was able to get back to driving. There's no regret in pulling the trigger on buying a brand new Toyota 86. The 86 is known for being an extremely well-balanced chassis, but with an underpowered drivetrain, which gives the driver the ability to learn how the car handles before throwing big power at it, which changes the car completely. You have to learn the balancing points, the braking points, and how your car reacts before you can start throwing big power at it. That's why I bought this car. As a trusty, reliable, everyday car that I can learn and practice my technique in. You spend most of your time driving in your daily car, every day, back and forth to work. So I figured I might as well get something that I truly enjoy. The 86 chassis is widely known as a car that trains the driver. All that's left is to put in the time and really get to learn it. Apart from the RX-7, which I only got a year ago and I barely drive it, this is the first manual transmission rear-wheel drive sports car I've had on the road in about 10 years. The other car being my first AE86. So this is kind of a cool experience. Sort of reliving the glory days. I use this car as a tool, not only to get me to work and to where I need to go, but also to practice my driving technique daily. The only downside to having this brand new car is that any sort of modification could possibly void the warranty, and I don't want to lose that. having full coverage and not having to worry about a thing is definitely a blessing.
4 a.m. doing my rounds. I'm a sonic boom at the speed of sound. Ready for clowns trying to take me down. I'm unstoppable now. It's my morning jog, it's my turf. And when I swerve out them curves. Put your money in, we gonna empty your till. Got no chance, man, God's hands on me.
The initial plan for my RX-7 was to just have a cool car to drive around. At the time, I wasn't really thinking about tracking it, racing it, drifting it. It was kind of just a nice car just to go out and have a good time with. But at the beginning of the summer, that changed really quick. Jesse and I took a trip to St. Eustache, the Autodrome, check out some drifting there, and see what's up for the summer.
Stop walking down memory lane. It's a grown man now, it's put to shame. Used to be a champion, rocking the game. But now I got this bottle wound, self-inflicted. Quit on life so I ain't addicted. Still won't get down on my knees.
I spent most of the early summer working on the Pontiac. I had some custom fab work to do on the front end, build up the chassis, make custom motor mounts, make sure the motor and trans fit properly. As soon as I went to that drift event, plans changed real quick. I started putting my focus back on the RX-7 and getting that ready to be on a racetrack. Fortunately, the mags that I bought for the 8.6 have multiple bolt patterns, and they fit the RX-7 perfectly. That gave me a set of drift wheels. The next thing I had to do was a little bit of testing, only to discover that it had an open diff. It was a Torsen style, so I was a little worried about what to do and didn't have the money to buy an actual LSD for the car. So I pulled out the differential, cleaned it up, brought it to my good friend Dan, and he welded that thing solid. Turning the RX-7 into a drift car was kind of a risk. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do it. It's a nice car, it's rare, and it's expensive to fix. So if I did any damage, I'd be out for the season. The other worry is always hitting a wall, smacking up a fender, busting a bumper, doing cosmetic damage. Because on drift cars, it happens all the time. No matter how good you are, or how skilled you think you are, or how much experience you have, everybody does a little bit of damage to their car out on the drift track. Before any of us even got close to a racetrack, there was plenty to do and see to keep the fire burning, to keep us motivated, to keep us wanting more. We're fortunate enough to live within a 2-hour drive of the racetrack in almost any direction that you go. There's iCar, at Mirabel Airport, the famous Autodrome in St. Eustache, which is only going to be there for one more season. It's closing at the end of 2019. So we really need to make the best of it. We always have Naperville Dragway, which is nice and close, very convenient. Although it's not the greatest venue, the drift track is very small, and the music and the vibe is just not there compared to the other tracks. We are south shore of Montreal, Quebec, and the car scene out here is always thriving. The nice thing about our situation is all these racetracks open up usually in April. That's when the weather starts to get nice, the snow is melted away, and the tracks can begin preparation. During that time, we begin our preparation too. But to see what's out there, there's lots going on. There's always a meet at night, a little get-together somewhere. Good friend of mine who has a shop, 207 Auto Care, throws a bash usually once a month. Here there's a lot of muscle cars, a lot of race cars. Not so much on the JDM or import stuff, but some of us show up there. It's all about having a good time with some super cool people. This is like the local drag race speed shop. This is where all the fast guys hang out. Another very special part of this little show is he has a burnout competition. That's where stuff gets crazy. Who doesn't like to see a burnout?
These guys are brave. These guys are brave. Put their beautiful vehicles up here on the burnout.
On the other end of the spectrum, when you go with the JDM import tuner guys, a lot of stuff goes down in the city. Like this big show, Exclusive Mondays. every Monday night at a restaurant in Laval. It's like a scene from a Fast and Furious movie. It's pretty much the biggest meet in town. It happens weekly, and everybody shows up with some very, very cool cars. Everything from mild to very wild, like this wide body R35. And a super rare R34 Skyline found in the wild. Shows like this make everybody want to go bigger, do bigger things. Stuff like this is what keeps most of this car scene alive. It's what we live for. Starting in the early month of May, big car shows start happening all around us. One of my personal favorites is the Paul Walker Memorial Ride. This is a great way to kick off the season. Everybody's there for the same reason. To enjoy the cars, enjoy the scene, express our love, and get together and just share this ultimate feeling. It's the Paul Walker Memorial Ride, so you know that everybody is there. With the kindness of hearts, the biggest of dreams. It's all about the love. Everybody gets along. Everybody has a good time. Everybody is there to remember and celebrate the life of Paul Walker, one of the greatest car guys ever to live. Without him, Fast and Furious wouldn't be the same. And without Fast and Furious, this entire car scene wouldn't be the same either. At Naperville Dragway, there's Car Fever, which is also fairly early in the season. Car Fever is an organization that runs multiple shows, and this is one of the best. They go to the drag strip, they set up, they have music, the vibe and the atmosphere is there that's not usually there. These guys really bring the show. So many people come from so far just to show off their cars, their hard work, their passion. Some of these cars are really something special, really something worth seeing. One of the first car shows I ever attended in this tuner scene was a Car Fever event, and it made a lasting impression on me ever since. It's always going to be one of those shows that I'm happy to go to and brings back great memories. It's been going on for 19 years now. That should give you an idea of what kind of quality show this is and how much people like it. Another show with its own style and its own flair is Mod Life. That also happens at Naperville Dragway, and it's also very impressive. It's a little wilder than Car Fever, a little more edgy, a little more variety. They do stuff there like two-step competitions, and also burnout competition. At the same time, going on the other end of the track, there's always drifting. There's always people hanging out there having a good time. Everybody gets to have fun. It's like one big party under the sun. On the higher end of these JDM tuner shows, we go back to St. Eustache for the infamous JDM Fest, claimed to be one of the biggest car meets in all of Canada. Being at the show, you can't deny it. This is where all the biggest and baddest players in the car industry in our local scene come out to show what they got. All of the nicest rides from the Montreal area are here on this very day. Since the coming 2019 season will be the last JDM Fest held at Autodrome St. Eustache, it's going to be a 2-day event. This will be something to see. More cars than ever. Bigger show than you could possibly imagine. Then we finish off with my two favorite events. The biggest events for the crazy guys in the car scene that like to push the limits. The drifters, the drivers, the time attackers. They split the track in two. Half the track is used for drifting, while the other half they use for time attack. This is a 2-day event, and the party just never stops. Making it to this event before the track closes is definitely on my to-do list. The second event on that to-do list is definitely the Maple Leaf Bash. This is the biggest drift event in Eastern Canada. Everybody just comes to throw it down. Amateurs, professionals, anybody that can drift. They get on the track and let it all hang out. But it really gives you a chance to show off your personal style, what you do best, and what you're passionate about. Rain or shine, nothing stops the madness. So that's what we're up against. That's where we're gonna go. All these shows, all these venues, the racetrack, that's the battlefield. That's where we go to do what we do.
The storms are coming.
The stage is set. All that's left to do now is organize, prepare, go out there and execute. Have fun, get better, and most of all, just enjoy the ride. It's almost showtime. It was time to get started. Time to make some moves. To get out there. To feel it. To live it. To do what we've all been dreaming about doing for so long. It's showtime.
Looking for action on the road, these streets unload my beef, make it hard to breathe. We roll, we roll.
I can't speak for the rest of the guys, but deep down inside, I have a drive, a want, a need to be out on a racetrack, driving on the edge, finding the limits. Never give up on something that you don't go a day without thinking about. Then it finally came, the first day that I'm going to be back drifting a car. It had been at least 7 years since I'd been drifting on a racetrack, and the drift cars I had before the RX-7 were nothing like it. The ones I had before were actually set up to drift and had a lot less power. I learned how to drift with almost no power at all, which would come in handy in most circumstances. But the cars that I used to drift, the footwork was set up perfectly for drifting. And this RX-7 is built, designed, and tuned to stick to the road and go wherever you point it. It was going to be a battle from the get-go, but not something that scared me away. I'm still all in, ready to go. So the first time back on a track, in that long, needless to say, I was a little nervous. The first race day jitters, shaky foot on the clutch pedal, it was all there. The butterflies, the excitement, just feeling hyper, ready to go. Completely different machine compared to anything else. The gears are really tall. I was able to stay in first gear the whole first session. But learning where the car had torque, where it would push, where it would let off, where it grabs, where it grips, where it slides, that's a whole different thing. It felt like drifting this car was just one big fight from beginning to finish. It was hard to know what to think when driving it.
Perfect.
after it was all said and done, I felt pretty good about my first day back at the track. Felt like I still had it a bit. It's kind of like riding a bike. You never really forget how to drift, you just get a little rusty. So the hope was to get to the track as much as possible and learn how to really drift this car. It still wasn't tuned, still needed some work, some fine touches, definitely some alignment work to do, but I think it was a good start. I'm totally happy with that. Nothing bad happened, I didn't break any parts, I didn't hit anything. That's a good day in my book. While I was having fun playing around on the drift track, Jamie's 240 was at Kiwi Performance, getting some final touches done before hitting the road. He'd done an engine swap over the winter, and we sent it out to our friends at Kiwi just to make sure everything was in tip-top shape and ready to rock and roll. He didn't really have any plans to put this car on a racetrack, since it is his baby. But things change. Also, the show season is in full swing. We take every chance we get to get out to a racetrack. It's where we love to be. We learn, have fun, make new friends.
That's what I'm talking about.
We got out to a few days of drag racing, hanging out with some friends there, learning the ropes, getting an in-depth look. It's a small world. People that you know, who know other people that you know, and so on. Really quite amazing. Some of the racers there even recognized Brent. His dad was involved with a few race teams, crew chief for many of them. It was pretty cool to hear old stories from back in those days. In between my first and second time at the racetrack, I had time to do a few modifications to the car, get out to a couple car shows and meets, even had time to build a chopper. I guess you could say I don't get to the drift track as often as I want to. Second time I got on the track, I felt a lot better about it. I felt much more comfortable in the car and ready to go for it. This time we were sticking it in second gear and keeping it to the floor. I brought Jesse to come help me film. Got some good footage, got some good seat time, learned a lot about the RX-7. then it happened. The moment that strikes self-doubt into yourself, makes you question what you're doing, and makes you worry about the car. Like I said a lot earlier, the RX-7's a pretty rare car. It's also a very nice car, and expensive to fix. So if anything goes wrong, it is not good. On just my second time out on the racetrack, I got a little overconfident and then ended up doing a little bit of a wall tap. Fortunately, it was a wall of tires. But even tires can do a few things to a car. Like most drift nights, I got home pretty late. So I only really checked out the damage to the RX-7 the very next morning. This moment not only made me second guess what I was doing, especially with this car, but it was also the moment that I decided that I needed to build something else. A car that I could take to the drift track and not worry about so much. Something that was just raw steel and power. Something to just have fun with. I began to look for another drift chassis at this moment. I didn't want to waste the rest of the season. I still wanted to go back and drift. I didn't want to damage the RX-7, but I definitely wanted the seat time. So I was still willing to go again. We're getting near the end of the season, and in the garages, me and the boys were up to no good. We pulled in the wagon, put a mean set of headers and a new exhaust on it, made it sound good, and gave it a bit more snap. It was a challenging project, but the three of us working on it all night. This car already looks amazing. Now modifying it to make it go fast is definitely something fun. The best part of it is seeing how it's feeding his inner speed demon, making him want to be faster on the track. It truly becomes an addiction.
It was fun. It's always fun. Brent's always in a good mood about it. He's got the spirit. Oh yeah. Woo! Fuck yeah. Who knew?
But before we go too far and do too many mods and make this car crazy fast, we want to take it out to the racetrack and see what it can do now, how it sits. Full sound system, air ride, the works. Over in Jamie's garage, between the crazy stuff that goes on there, he managed to blow up his SR20. It ended up back at Kiwi Performance a few times, finally finishing off with a KA24 turbo. An amazing setup built by the guys at Kiwi Performance. This thing's got enough guts to even take down the RX-7. And in true Jamie style, it's gonna get pretty wild. The Malibu is getting very serious. New parts coming in daily. Every week he does something else to this car. The newest, biggest thing, some ignition and a set of slicks. He's starting to get pretty serious about it. And I really like the way things are turning out. I've always kind of been into the competition of things, making cars fast, learning how to drive them really good, and to see my friends get into it and enjoy it just as much as I do really makes me happy. There's nobody else more I would rather go to the racetrack and into battle than with these guys. I'm hoping for something amazing to come out of this. And if anything else, at least we're gonna have great memories and all the videos to prove it. Getting ready for one of the final track days of the season, I finally had a chance to get the RX-7 down to a dyno and have it properly tuned. This engine was built by a good friend of mine a little over a year ago.
I'm waiting, eyeing, I really want to know about secret you're holding, exposing, I want to know now.
I ran it on a very safe tune until the break-in period was over. This is the next step, getting it tuned and unleashing the full potential of the RX-7. The previous owner of this car added and removed a few parts that I wasn't aware of, so we did the best we could on the dyno. But the guys down at Derwin Performance, they know what they're doing, and against the odds, we were able to get 290 horsepower out of it. And we started initially with 230. That means up until now, I've only been drifting with 230 horsepower. I can't wait to get to the track. This next one's gonna be a lot of fun. Now the day has come. It's showtime. We primarily play in drifting and drag racing. Myself leading the way on the drift side of things with my RX-7, and big plans for next season to have a completely different car with a completely different power plant set up for the track and only the track, with nothing but guts and glory. Under my wing is my brother-in-law Jamie. The kid came out swinging. He never drifted before, but the first time he got in on it, he just went for it. He's infamous for sending it, and that he did. On the drag side of the fence, Brent Lagace knows more about drag racing than anybody I've ever met. Has the drive to do everything he needs to go faster. That Malibu has been under some serious fine-tuning this winter, so season 2019, you're gonna see this thing fly. JM, Boombox, our sound system guy, the guy with the style, the lowrider, always had nice wheels, good stance. Now, he's come over to the dark side and wants that thing to move fast. We have some very, very special plans for this car. But 2019 is going to be an absolute blast, and I hope you guys tune in to watch it. So,
It's pretty exciting, I have to say.
you're a drag racer now.
So remember that for next year?
what Project 253 is all about. Good people, good times, and cool cars. It's about becoming better at what you do all together with a common dream. But being happy about where you're going and where you are. Enjoying the ride, the journey, the process. It's not about the end goal, and it never should be. It's about the steps you take on the way, the friendship and the bonds you build, and the memories you make. We're lucky enough to be able to do something that we're so passionate about. So we enjoy it to the fullest. Savor every moment. This is us. This is now. 2019. It's time to party. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.